Satnam, offering a general reading. I'll share a little bit about what I'm getting, where I'm taking it, and we'll take a look at the cards. As always, take what resonates within, dismiss what doesn't feel a fit. Explore your own perspective, your own awareness and experience over anything I have to offer or share. So getting two things, check yourself. Check yourself and the penalty box. And so I got a few things from this, and we'll start with check yourself. And thinking of that as the Four of Cups energy, Four of Pentacles, Four of Wands, and the Four of Swords. So are you allowing yourself that opportunity to rest? Are you allowing yourself that opportunity to sit still? So check within of what's going on. How are you? And doing so in a way that it's not like this demand, this, oh, I should, I'm good because I've gone to the gym, or I'm good because I didn't eat that cookie. It's not that. It's this heaven on earth, this joy of being here, being still, deep listening, and just feeling what it means to be human, feeling what it means to be present. And so exploring that. Four is also about stability. So knowing that that is part of your foundation, just like you go to work, you get your oil change, you rotate your tires, you brush your teeth, sitting still and exploring your own awareness, that self-reflection, that meditative energy, however that plays out for you to care for you, that self-care is part of what's necessary for your experience here on earth. Also getting put in check, or I took this as put in check. Like you can get put in check by someone, or you can put someone into check. And no, do we need to slam someone up against the wall? I mean, maybe you do if you need to protect yourself, but it's more about recognizing projections, rejections, noticing when there's transference and countertransference. What does that mean? So noticing when my issues are bubbling up and I'm throwing them at you, or wait, you're throwing something at me that's not mine. And again, put someone in check. Sometimes you have to lay out those boundaries. Sometimes you have to put your foot down, and you do have to put someone in check, because it's part of laying your foundation for you, because you matter first and foremost. Also, penalty box. They give me check yourself and show me the penalty box. And I'm not a huge sports fan, although ESPN was like always on growing up once we were able to get cable. So to me, it's like spirit taking you out of the game, but you might perceive it. Your ego is like, wow, I'm in timeout. But really it's spirit putting you back in the game of life because you missed the check yourself. Or it's more of like your soul is calling for growth. Like it's time for you to grow out of this comfort zone, this box that you created for yourself. And you can think of that as like your soul contract of what you are designed to be, and spirit lining you up with all these lovely lessons to put you back in the game with this new foundation. You can think of it as that tower moment that perhaps you missed. If you look back, there's probably that Eight of Wands energy. There's moments when spirit said, hey, this is what's going on, check in, what's up, are you listening? Or again, it's that, for me, I've experienced that, like the rug being pulled out from under me and going, whoa, wait, what's happening? That huge tower moment that transforms everything you believe to be true, but awakens you to your truth. It's a beautiful opportunity. Doesn't feel so great though. And I also got sidelines. Hockey is interesting. It's interesting because you get to boo. And again, not a huge sports fan. Again, ESPN was always on in the background. Mom would take me to games, well, my brother and I, mainly basketball, but we went to some hockey games too. And it was fun because you get to boo, you get to holler. Like there's not like that golf where you're like just sitting still, or volleyball where everyone's quiet before they serve, you know, like you get to make noise, you get to be rowdy. And while that's entertaining, there's also this thought when you think of check yourself is, how can we boo? How can you boo when you're not out on the ice getting your teeth knocked out? Like, And this reminded me of two things. One is Brene Brown's talk of her experience of the man in the arena speech, as in, like, if you are not out there in the game, be quiet. I had a friend one time sharing her experience. Someone was explaining how she should handle her life, and it wasn't like, oh, you should date this guy, not that guy. Of course, this is irrelevant for this person, but it was something that had to do with her body and her health, and whether she should have reconstructive surgery or not. Someone was like, you should have it. And she said the most profound thing that stood out in my mind. She's like, you do not have a right to an opinion. I was like, damn straight. You do not have a right to opinion. Like, we're all living our own lives, doing the best we can. Like, how can we be on the sidelines saying what's right and wrong when we're not the one with the stick in the puck in hand on the ice? Like, if you're not there living it, doing it, zip it. So that's what I got from check yourself and seeing the penalty box. Let's see what the cards have to say. Let's see. Yeah, we used to have these major sports days growing up. Mom would have us out with all our friends, but it was basic sports. So there could be other sports that you're allowed to boo, but that's the only one I know of. We didn't watch fights or anything. It was like tennis and lots of football. Basketball. It was a great opportunity. My daughter made a comment one time. She's like, everyone should play sports. And it's funny because I always thought everyone should have to wait tables. Just like get that experience. But she made a point. Like, everyone should have to learn teamwork and get in the game and move the body too. Whoa, that fell out. All right, got two here. Bottom deck is openness. So being open and receptive. So put that down. Codependency and grief and anger. So check yourself. Codependency is interesting in that it shows up in different ways than you would think. There is something to collaboration and connecting and not feeling like that sense of like I'm alone. But are there conditions set to that? And that's where healthy boundaries and checking yourself comes in. Am I reaching out? Am I creating this partnership out of need? Am I creating this partnership and making this commitment because it is right for my soul? And also creating that like need and dependency on people. Are you holding someone back? And like, I just reached out to a friend about this because I'm like, there's got to be a term for this, but I don't know the term, where like, it's almost like consensual validation. That's the closest word I have. I should have Googled it, but I just don't know it. And all that I've read, no term like this has come up. It's like when someone in the group, in the family, in a certain culture, excuse me, starts to do well, the rest are like, wait, let me hold you back. Like when you start to get sober, you lose a lot of people because you're not out there making an ass of yourself with everyone, right? Financially, like there could also be that point where like, oh, you're starting to better yourself. You owe someone something. I'm not sure if that's relevant here. It recently came up in a conversation, so it seems worth mentioning. Also, ball and chain. Like, why do we think of it that way? Or missing a piece without someone. And grief and anger. And this is interesting because when I was thinking about transference, countertransference, protection, is that can be all bottled up because I was thinking kitchen sink, but they're like, if you bottle it all up and you are not open to connect and communicate, and right now it does feel like time to release a lot of layers with the full moon in Pisces. Like it's like this outburst of just life knocking at your door on an emotional level, is saying, do you really need to hold on to these patterns? Do you really need this grief and anger based on the past? And are you recreating the future still based on past concepts, right? Of what should be versus what is possible. Interesting. Let's see, let's take a look at the tarot. This is a beautiful deck. Let me say that. I think they're all beautiful. That was calling out. I almost didn't use it because it's new. I like this too. This, if you look at this codependency card versus openness, you know, ball and chain versus standing on solid ground, heading in not only to the sunset, but that sun energy. Like, we're going to embrace what comes next. Going to embrace as the sun rises. We're going to embrace when the moon rises, and standing on solid ground, but not being so attached. Maybe look at attachment theory if that's kind of drawing a chord with you. Or is that the right way to say it? I don't know. Okay, that popped. Empress. Okay. Be in your power. Now I get where this is going. Okay. Bottom deck energy. Got it. Okay. Bottom deck energy is the Knight of Wands. What popped out is the Empress. So standing in your power, like you, like you're the big kahuna. Like you really get to say what goes. You are not chained to any concepts of what's supposed to be. Like if you look at layers of society, when you look at layers of the white picket fence, you look at the layers of heterosexual conformity, or I don't know what I'm saying, but if you look at certain dynamics, it's like there's a certain box we put ourselves in, and really you get to sit on your own throne. You get to decide where that throne is. You get to decide what chair is yours in the house. You get to decide what channel it is on the TV. Like, it's your fucking choice. And being aware of what ignites your passion, but also what energies are coming at you that aren't yours to take on. So if there's this filter of grief, so when you think of dreams, and usually like if you're dreaming of a home that's kind of you take your dreams as you will, it could represent like your own framework, right? Quality of the home being like the quality of your foundation. When we look at the bedroom, it's more of your intimate way of being. Are you pushing away intimacy? Are you pushing away deep connection because your own deep-rooted insecurities and fears, like I'm not good enough, and not even realizing it because you feel that way, that you push people aside, that you mask sadness with anger, or that there is some sadness or grief that's deep within that's like pushing away the possibilities of the future because of what happened in the past. So when you look at yourself in a deep, intimate level, when you connect with yourself, when you connect with spirit, and how you want to connect with another human being on earth, what is there? Like what's happening between the sheets? What's happening between your ears? What undercurrents of the emotions from the past are leading the way? And how can you kind of release that? It's being strong in your own stance as a couple or as a single, or if you're in the poly world, however you decide to express yourself with another human being, recognizing what's yours and what's not, because you're in charge. You're in charge. Let's keep going. I got three more decks for you today. And too, like grief and anger, allowing yourself, like her tears are, her mascara is running. And so allowing the tears, no matter what it looks like on the external, like, are you going to bottle that up and keep holding to it and allow it to keep like holding you back and holding you in, like the Four of Pentacles energy? Or are you going to release and open it up and make room for something new? All right, Two of Diamonds. So recognizing what's ahead, the light that's coming through, but also that undercurrent of emotion. So balancing what's happening internally and externally. Bottom deck energy, Nine of Spades, fear. So for your spirit, so getting down to the bare bones and listening to spirit, listening to your truth and not what your thoughts are feeding you. Your thoughts can get in the way, and the storyline that you attach to the past can get in the way. Like, forgiveness is huge, because what happens, or at least this is what's happened for me, is like there's some sadness. There needs to be some forgiveness within my own self. Like, how could I let that happen? How did I not see that coming? Why was I a doormat again? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I can go on and on that way. And then when I don't want to play that game, that dance in my head, what masks it? Can't talk. I mask it with anger. And then what am I doing? Pushing everyone away, right? And hurting myself in the process. But what's under that? It's the fear. The fear is what's holding me back from myself and others, when really have to dance in. If I'm present and pay attention, okay, this is what's happening on the external. Like, I can stand here like a secret agent and see the whole board, see everything that's happening, and I can feel what's happening inside to get the messages from spirit to release the fear that's stagnating. And the Rider-Waite deck, the Nine of Spades or Nine of Swords, is someone kind of like waking up out of a bad dream. So it's kind of taking that card as the next step from that, is how to wake up out of that. It's the opportunity. Fear can hold you back, or you can allow it to transform you. You can hold yourself back from the memories or stories, or you can allow it to transform you. And I feel like, and I was getting that this morning, I took it as my own message, so I didn't like put it in all of this today with check yourself. And the penalty box was like the more that you let go of your stories, the fear isn't there as much. It's like letting that Four of Pentacles, letting that opportunity just like create space for yourself. It's like that breathing room. But that grip of the mind from the stories, that as that starts to unravel, then the fears just kind of dissipates, like part of that transformation. I thought it came out right. That's what happens when you dance in your own head all the time. And you like go to speak, because this is coming out right. I don't know. So thank you for listening. What if we're all magical in and of ourselves, and that we don't need someone to be, and that person that comes and joins you and in your life is there by choice, with this open quality that I'm going to allow you to be you and you're going to allow me to be me, and how beautifully we can dance in this lifetime together. I'll never forget, this was like my first bus stop mom's moment. You know, I'm like younger than all the other moms. Never lived in like a big neighborhood like this before, and like I was like in shock going to the bus stop. I was like, there are so many people, lots of moms, lots of kids running around, and I'm like, I'm the new person I'm the new person there. And so they're like interested, like, who are you? What do you know, trying to figure me out a little bit. And they asked me my name, and the next question is, what does your husband do? And I'm like, what? Like in my head, I'm like, does my husband do? Like, what? Like, hi, I'm this person, you know, but I was like, I'm not married. They're like, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm not. Yeah, that I made friends that day. Bottom deck energy is judgment. Like, where's your wake up call internally? Because I'm saying that because it's coming in at your head, like, and how is spirit knocking at your door. The next bottom deck energy is the devil. So noticing, so guilty of this. Are you tied up in your head? Are you tied up in storylines of the past? Excess. Let's keep the judgment on the board there. All right, so we have 3 that fell out. 6 of hazards. What's leading the way? What is leading the way? And are you leading the way with truth? Are you leading the way? Is something like, is part of you, forgiveness is popping up again. Forgive yourself for what you didn't know. When you start to look back, it becomes painful. It becomes painful because you're like, I didn't see that. I didn't see it coming. I didn't feel that out. Like, try not to blast yourself mentally for what you didn't see clearly in the moment. You might have been driving for a particular way of life, and now it's time to lead with heart and soul. And notice what was the driving force, what was that carrot that you were going after, that maybe someone dangled in front of you that you didn't realize, or that society is putting out there for you. Manipulation is real, so not to beat yourself up for it if you were in that game, but even society, I believe, has a way of manipulating what should be, what can be, and what's acceptable and what's not, and I hope that we're transforming that. Next 2 cards, 4 of Wands. The past wasn't always as wonderful as we thought it was. If we think of like the wonder years and the times that we thought we were badasses or fun, like, I know when I look back, it was a hot mess. Like, got some stories, some good laughs, got some scars, some stitches. Like, that, it was not really a good time, but the time thought it was wonderful. So notice what energies you commit to, what you thought was great, and what might not have been. And the Sun. What is your true happiness? What is your true happiness? And can you rise above the madness and notice, not just when it is like emergency time, and I've been guilty of this too, it's like your self-care, again, back to that 4 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, 4 of Wands energy, 4 of Swords, letting yourself rest, is that opportunity. It's like washing the dishes, doing the laundry. It's like part of your maintenance, and not waiting till the time when, like, I've done this, wait till rock bottom where you're like, I have no choice but to make a change. But there could also be that opportunity when, like, things have gotten so heavy and out of sorts that then you break the ice and look from above. So seeing the bigger picture and a new perspective, I think that's what I'm trying to say there. All right, let's close this out. One more. Okay, so you can see from above, or you can see grounded together, okay? Either way, we're heading in the direction of the light. We're heading in the direction and following not only a path from the soul level, however it is that we get there, emergencies, tower moments, or otherwise, connected, rejected, codependent, or otherwise, that ideally we're kind of dancing between being heaven on earth, working with our guides and angels from above, and finding new ways, not only to see the bigger picture and to surrender to the energy, surrender to what makes the sun come up, what makes the planets turn, like surrendering to that energy and not seeing yourself as needing to be rescued, but having the tools within yourself and with your spirit team to navigate this heaven on earth, to stand on solid ground and to see and to believe. Whoa, cards falling out. All right, bottom deck. Bottom deck is set. Sin Eater. So goats, they can make a mess, man. Like, they can jump all over your car. They can eat this and that, but you can also bring them into a field, into, like, you know, some vines, and actually have them clean up. And so this card actually asks you to clean house emotionally or otherwise. It's time to clean house. It's time to recognize projections. It's time to recognize codependent patterns. It's time to notice when the kitchen's like you're throwing the kitchen sink and it's time to like, you know, you do like the dishes and you just kind of do maintenance. It's time to like scrub everything down kind of energy. Let's see if I can find these cards. All right, 3. This one is facing up. Shadow Queen. And to me, the queen, king or queen, doesn't matter, male, female, on the spectrum, it's all good, is noticing energetically where you're connecting and how you're embracing. And it's important, yin yang, to, it's back to that inter-be and that reciprocity, and that we don't have light without dark. We don't have the sun without the moon. We don't have light without a shadow. And it's about cleaning up what judgments we have made in the past about what was, and cleaning up the mental framework that has us kind of tied up in loops leading in a direction that no longer serves, because you're in charge. All right, Sea Priestess and the Unknown. Beautiful. The Sea Priestess, she asks you to explore the emotional layers. You can also think of scrying if you're into scrying. For me, it's taking a bath in the dark. However it is for you to clean up emotionally and open up. And this card is huge. We don't always know what's coming. We don't, but it's important to be open and receptive. Like, we can't plan everything out. Can't plan it all out. Because a lot of that planning is coming from the shadow self, the fear, that 9 energy, that fear of trying to prevent. Notice what's happening in the dream world. They're saying lucid dreaming. So it's that space in between that you can actually explore with an open mind, open heart. They might be referring to this card with that as well. It's that dance between worlds that is both known and unknown to us, that gives us the information that we need, and it kind of pulls us out of that 2 of Swords dance, that holding energy. I believe that is it. Let me take one more look at the cards. So this time is necessary. These tears are necessary. These emotions are necessary, right? And that opportunity to explore your own self-care is how you transform this stagnant disbelief, those belief systems in the brain, to freedom. And it might be sitting out in the dock looking at the sunrise. It might be going for a walk in the woods. It might be helping a friend, or like however it is that you are honestly coming from heart and a place of personal power to explore the moment. And notice what comes in when you get that sense of unknown. Like, what happens when you have an opportunity to explore that moment and you're like, wow, time stands still. Like, I can feel every cell in my body. And no, I don't get high, but it's like that moment. It's like sitting around the table at that in the 70s show. It's like that sort of thing, like exploring and just being there, versus, you know, letting your mind open to that. But also notice when your thoughts bombard you to keep you from this. What stops you to being open and receptive to the unknown? That's really, if you feel deeply, you know, you just can't. Yeah, it's not a place of validation. It's a place of surrender and trust. And can you check yourself when the mind comes in and starts to misguide you and drive you in a different direction than what's really true? Like, what's your true calling? What's your true gift? What's your true knowing, outside of what someone might be putting in your ear, outside of what you thought was awesome? So noticing the energies that are coming in and allowing yourself to transform and navigate based on your inner knowing, your inner calling, and what feels right to you, and believing in what feels right to you. You're not always going to get it right, but it's about learning to listen and love yourself through it, regardless if you fall, regardless if you go to the emergency room, or whatever, anywhere in between, that it's okay, that you're navigating this plane and exploring energy, exploring your mind, and exploring what it means to be human and bring heaven on earth here today. Sending lots of light and love. Do hope this helped.